42 games? 22 exclusives? What the fuck?
Are you kidding me, Microsoft?
This is game related, man. Reacting to Microsoft conference. Reacting to Microsoft conference. I'm Adam.
I'm Zach.
And this is gonna be quite the discussion, man. That shit was crazy. Matter of fact, I got my notes here somewhere. Grab that because I had to write a lot of shit down.
Oh yeah.
I had to take these notes. These might be from that's from the other conference. So here we go, man. Microsoft dropped some bombs, man. They came out swinging. All that confidence they were showing leading into the show proved to be well founded.
Right.
At least, for their presentation. We'll see how the products end up, but man.
Wow. And I mean, this, I kind of want to go back to a little bit of our predictions that we had talked about from Microsoft.
Okay.
And you were talking about Forza 7 and how that was going to be announced. And we were right on the money about that.
Yeah. That Forza 7. I mean, I had a feeling only because they came out with that Forza Apex for PC, right?
Right.
And it seemed like they were testing out the high-end resolutions, the 4K with that and the engine for it, because that thing is amazing to look at when it's maxed out.
It really is.
And it just felt like there was enough there. There's more to it. It didn't stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just felt right. I don't know, man, but it looks like it's going to be amazing. That's Scorpio, man.
That's Scorpio, or as it's now called,
X.
the Xbox One X.
Yeah, One X. I was like, X gonna give it to you.
X gonna give it to you.
Man.
Hip hop for life.
Hip hop for life. But yeah, man, that's a hell of a presentation, hell of an opening, man. What'd you think about the presentation in general?
Man, we literally, as the way that you and I do these, we usually tend to have longer than shorter videos.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously we're not really gonna have time to go into every single game because holy shit, that was a lot of games, man. 42 games, 22 exclusive launches. And one thing that I did want to point out is when they were revealing these games that said, Xbox exclusive launch, that was a bit of an ambiguous term to me. I mean, does that mean that the game is coming out on Xbox One exclusively first? Or does that mean that it's an or does that mean that it's an exclusive that is coming out the same day as the Xbox One X on November 7th?
I think when they were saying the exclusive before, when it would be like console exclusive, I think that's exactly what they meant because they would always say Xbox and Windows 10 exclusive. Right. So I think that no other console will have the games, but you'll be able to get them on PC. I think that's all it means. You know what I mean? Like some of them will launch with it, I'm sure, but yeah, I mean, some might even come out first for the One X, depending, but I doubt it. I mean, because it's Microsoft on both sides.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I kind of feel like they'll launch side by side in almost all cases on their store. You know what I mean?
I agree. It does seem like as hard as they're pushing this new Xbox One X, they have really hit the nail on the head in stating that yes, this is still an Xbox One. It's still part of the Xbox One family, and I love that when they announced, even if you don't have a 4K TV, such as myself, I don't have one yet. If I were to get an Xbox One X, those games would still have processes that make the games look better, even not in 4K, as opposed to the One S or the regular Xbox One. I thought that was awesome. That was very thoughtful of them to put that into consideration and put it into their presentation this year.
Yeah, and I think that comes with the territory, though, to be honest. I mean, the PS4 Pro does the same thing, you know what I mean? As far as, you can choose your resolution to downscale it for 1080p, be more detailed and all that, better draw distance, things like that.
Frame rate and what have you.
Yeah, and I mean, same with PC. I think you got to keep up with the Joneses. Like right now, I mean, downstairs we got the 4K, but up here, in the game room / studio / office, you know what I mean? It's just 1080p joints, and I set my PC for 4K, and it automatically just downscales it to each display, you know what I mean, to what it can do, you know? So if they didn't have that, it almost would be a bad mark on it. With the fact that it has so much power that it's going to make them look as good as it's going to make them look is the thing. I have a feeling that it's going to almost look like a generation leap, I think. When you compare the first Xbox One to the One X, I think it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I cannot state how happy I am with Microsoft and how tempted I am to get an Xbox One X, or at least get a PC that can run all of these games that are going to be running on Windows 10, which is already part of the plan for this channel anyway. So you can expect us to be covering those games on both fronts. But apart from that, The games.
My goodness.
Oh man, what? Just pick a couple off the top of your head that stuck out
I
to
mean,
you.
we'll start with the Forza 7
Forza
because
7.
that was kind of crazy to me that they debuted a new car to the world, a new supercar, that Porsche 911, whatever the rest of the name of it was. That thing was an impressive car to look at, but the fact that they had that in their pocket, I mean, it might not have got a lot of people where they were like, oh, that's awesome, but it shows you where they're staying, like, on the business side of things. Like,
Right.
that's making a move. That's a power move.
I agree.
And it looked awesome. The fact that they were debuting it in Forza, you know what I mean? That shows you where Forza stands, too. Forza's running strong, you know, with both the main series and then the Horizon jump off. I mean, I'm thoroughly for it. It looks good, man.
Yeah.
It really does.
It really does. You kind of converted me into Forza now. I've been exclusively Mario Kart racers until now. I'm definitely going to be getting in on the Forza games.
Yeah.
Because they're an experience, and that's what gaming's all about, and I love it.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. We can get down on Apex, you know what I mean? If you want to play, because I haven't even really played through that much, because I've been on Horizon. I just happened to stumble across that when I was looking at Horizon's DLC when I got the season pass for it. But and I was like, oh, it's free, and I looked into it more, and it's cool, man.
Very good.
But yeah, we'll show you that. But I mean, yeah, the graphics on that look. I mean, people talk about, I don't know if using that game to show it off first was the thing, but I feel like that's probably the most photorealistic game that they have available to show. So to me, it was a great one to start off with.
I agree. And I mean, you know, when it comes to E3, everyone's going to have their own different way of how they feel about things. Like, my friend was super upset with Bethesda, but we'll get to that. I was okay with Bethesda, but I do think it was the weakest show so far.
Yeah.
As of this recording, which is just after the Ubisoft one finished, and we'll get that one in within the next couple of days. But everyone reacts to these things differently, and I think that Forza was a great one to open with, especially with that Porsche. And from right then on, I mean, before they got to Forza, they got, you know, they covered the Xbox One X, they covered the specs, they covered, you know, yada yada yada, all the business stuff. And then right when they were done with the Porsche and they moved on to Forza, it was game after game after game after game after game after game, endless, just so many games. Oh.
Yeah, it was a long conference, but it didn't feel like it.
No,
you know
exactly,
what I mean?
exactly. It just, like, you know, it kept going, but in the best possible way.
Yeah, it was console exclusive. It just kept saying it. And I was like, man, you guys are hammering this home. They needed to, though.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about before, the PS4 and Sony with their exclusive game, that's how they've been kicking ass in this generation, man.
Absolutely.
Their games. And we'll see. If they had 22 exclusive Microsoft, what's Sony going to drop tonight?
Oh.
With their exclusive. Like, either Sony's going to come out and either kind of just, I feel like, we're good, let's just keep it kind of even kill, shoot for par. Or these guys be like, nah, we got this power. We going to go and try to hit these eagles. We going to try to, you know what I mean? Try to I'm making all these golf. I don't even play golf, but I play Tiger Woods. Felt right, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're gonna move on. They debuted that Metro
Exodus.
Yeah, Exodus. That looked cool.
It really does. Oh man, and seeing it with the Xbox One X and showing that off as graphically your first game to give people an impression of what it can do is a great move. It looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It looks awesome. This is definitely the game that I think is going to get a lot of the mainstream hardcore gaming audience in on the Metro series, because there was a lot of people that did not play 2077 or any of the other ones that had come out in the past few years.
For 2033.
Yeah,
There's Cyberpunk 2077.
yeah, exactly. Still thinking about Cyberpunk.
Yeah. But no, I know what you mean, man. And I have the remastered ones on my PC. I've started them, but I haven't played through them, so I'm even in that camp. And they're good games, man. I heard the books that they're based on are really good, too.
Didn't even know they were based on books.
Yeah, they're based on books. The author, matter of fact, he came out talking about, when the Witcher author came out talking that shit about video games, he was like, that guy's crazy. I'm grateful for video games. More people came to my book because of video games than vice versa. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, and he realizes the benefit of it, and he seemed like actually a pretty cool guy. I want to check the books out, you know?
Right. No, I'm going to have to.
Yeah, you're a guy who's really into books, so yeah, man, look into that. I kind of want to check the Witcher ones out too, but I kind of don't to protest that guy. I'm about to get like a bootleg copy so I don't get none of my money. Exactly. He probably got some of my money from me buying the Witcher. But
oh, he didn't. That's one of the reasons.
Oh yeah, he did. He's pissed off.
Yeah, he's salty.
Gotta take the royalties. But yeah, man, they showed Assassin's Creed Origins, man.
Assassin's Creed Origins.
That Egypt setting looks incredible. I love seeing the pyramids look like they're in their majestic prime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ever since they went to Rome in Brotherhood, I was hoping since then that the next game would be in Egypt somewhere. You know, because Rome and Egypt were the two cities I wanted to see after I saw that they had a theme of going to these old world versions of cities.
Exactly.
Finally, man. And I'm glad they waited because now where the technology is out, they can make it look as stunning as it looks.
Yep.
It looks good, man.
It really does. All the individual people throughout the areas, they all have their own set schedules and daily routines and lives. They have their own lives. All of the animals and wildlife look really diverse and, you know, they put a lot of detail into them, it seems.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And the weapon system.
Yo.
And the combat changes. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wow.
And the fact that you can pick up weapons from enemies and actually check their specs. You know, so there's a loot aspect to it, you know, now instead of just like in the past where you could pick a weapon up, but it was, you know, limited use. You swing it a few times to somebody, you drop it. You know what I mean? You couldn't keep it with you.
Yeah.
And you couldn't really see the stats on it and all of that, you know. So I like that aspect a lot too. And then the eagle thing, kind of eagle/drone vision mode, you know. That was cool, you know, just have that. It's an interesting way to incorporate it. Seems a little supernatural. They're praying more. They're using more of that supernatural aspect of the Assassin's Creed series now. It seems like, which is cool. And this is how they started too, man. So we're gonna see.
We're gonna see the origins of everything. Hence the title, obviously. But this is where it all began, and I think they did that on purpose to kind of commemorate Assassin's Creed as a 10-year anniversary thing. The series has been around for a decade now.
Damn, time flies.
Crazy
man.
to think about that.
I still remember hitting Messiah for Masia or whatever you want to call it, tomato. It was the first time rolling into that mug, man. Al-Mualim and all that stuff. Damn, time flies. I'm glad it's still around though.
It really does, and I'm glad it is too. It deserves to be. It's worked hard on a lot of great installments from that series. And you know, the worst ones are still playable. You know, to this day, from what I understand.
True. I mean, I would consider, at least in my experience, I haven't played some of the handheld ones like, you know, Bloodlines and stuff like that, but I would consider Unity probably the worst one that I've played.
Right.
And it is playable. You know what I mean? It's just not as polished. I feel like they kind of rushed it. It was the first one on new hardware.
Right.
You know, so it's forgivable as many games as they put out. But then Syndicate came out, in my opinion, redeemed them majorly. I love playing Syndicate.
I've heard great things about Syndicate. And going to on that note from Unity, it almost like when I was watching the presentation, it felt like Ubisoft had been focusing way more on this game and prioritizing this game and kind of letting Unity just be
Well, yeah. After a while, they upgraded it because they had a bad, especially on PC, they had a terrible launch with bugs. Yeah. So they got it upgraded to where it actually became. If it would have got scored after being patched, it would have had a lot higher scores than it got.
That's good.
It's not as bad as the scores you see reflect, but it's still. When you play Syndicate and Unity back to back, you just like, you could tell that Syndicate, they were like, we got to make up for that. And I'm glad they took a couple years off to make this one. You know what I mean? They stopped with the annual release schedule for a little bit. They put out, that collection, the Ezio collection remastered. You know,
they gave a go at the movie, obviously, with Michael Fassbender. I never saw it. Heard it got bad reviews.
Yeah, likewise. I'm gonna watch it still. I'm gonna check it out and see. But hopefully it was just good enough to get a sequel where they try to redeem themselves again.
Hopefully.
Because there's a lot there, story-wise. We ain't talking about Ubisoft right now. We're getting way down. We'll talk about that later, shoot.
Yeah, we definitely will. But for now, we got Assassin's Creed announced at the Microsoft conference, which was awesome. What's another good game that you wanted to mention?
Next I got here in my notes, man, is this kind of collection of those indie games they had that they kind of went on a rash of, like Player Unknown, State of Decay 2 coming out. You know what I mean? It looks cool. Like those kind of games aren't really for me. The thing that came to mind, honestly, when I saw State of Decay 2, was Days Gone looks way doper on PS4.
It actually,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, State of Decay 2 looks okay, but you know, honestly, Days Gone, I am more excited for as well, and I'm glad that we don't have to worry about missing out on anything from State of Decay 2 if we have other titles that we want to get to instead on that console, on that platform.
Exactly. I mean, there's only so many zombie games I can play at one time. Right. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna touch too much on those. I mean, it's cool that they're out. They'll probably be successful. We'll see how that, you know, what they call it, Project or ID at Xbox or what. I can't remember exactly what they called it, but it looked like they had a little program in the works to kind of revive their hold in that indie scene. They were the OG ones to start Xbox Arcade and all of that. I don't know why they let Sony and Nintendo and all of them just take that. Mostly Sony, you know, they just kind of ran with it. Valve and all them on Steam too, you know, they got that program where they let all that bullshit do. They just killed too. Let's see, Darwin Project.
The Darwin Project. Now, give me a little recap on this one.
I'm trying to. That's what I'm looking at. I'm gonna have to look this trailer up real quick. Darwin Project looked like it was an esport where the guy had that presentation with the announcer coming out. What's Darwin? We're gonna see all kind of stuff come up. I type that in. Darwin Project. I'll just hit the trailer. Boom, hell yeah.
Oh, this is that.
Oh,
the
yeah. Look like Hunger Games, kind of.
Yep,
like Hunger Games with an announcer in a cartoon world.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. It looks cool, man.
It does. It looks fun.
I'm gonna check it out. I know that this is one of the few games like that, like esports style, that I actually want to be like, yo, like Overwatch. Actually grabbed me. You know, it took a while for you to get me hooked on it, but I feel like this is another one that's gonna be pretty. At least if it lives up to what it looks like, it could be dope.
Now, do you think that the Darwin Project is its final title, or is that the in development code name for it right now? Do you think?
To me, from what I saw, it makes sense for it to be the final title because it's kind of like last man standing, the survival of the fittest kind of thing, right? And that's the whole, you know, summation of what Darwinism is really, as far as evolution. At the end of the day, is survival of the fittest. You got to evolve and adapt.
Exactly.
And that makes what you got to do in this. So I feel like that's actually a really dope name for that game.
I agree. I think it's the final title as well, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I do feel like that if it were a code name, they would have just called it Project Darwin for the time being, not have the in the whole thing and that stuff as well. And it, like you say, it thematically makes sense with what they're showing off.
Yeah, and I don't know if like E3 they're really, if they're gonna announce something like that, I don't know if they announced the working title. That might be like used more like through the leak kind of hype, quote unquote leak, I should say. Because I feel like nowadays a lot of leaks are playing.
There were a lot of fake leaks coming up to the beginning of the show, leading up to it, and you know, I kind of had to be wary where I was going on the internet to make sure that I wasn't falling into one of these traps and getting overexcited for something that doesn't end up being there. But there were a few predictions and rumors that so far have seen fruition, and let's see. Oh man, I don't know. You could, if you're getting on some particular. I don't want to stop your. No. Let's go. Let's
bro. Minecraft. You know me. I'm not even a Minecraft guy.
Yeah.
But what they're doing,
the
unified world across all platforms.
Yep.
That can change gaming.
It really can.
Oh man,
that is awesome. The fact that, you know, isn't Minecraft owned by Microsoft now?
I think so, man.
Yeah, the fact that they had the Nintendo Switch in the Microsoft trailer, and like, you can, if I get it on my Switch and you get it on your PlayStation, we'll still be able to play together. If we have someone who gets on their iPhone, they can still play it with us. That's nuts.
That's crazy. And I got my PC came with the Windows version of Minecraft on it. It was like a complimentary. From, I guess Microsoft has, I feel like they do own that, you know, but I'm not positive on that fact. But regardless, they're the ones that said, you know, they're the ones that are powering this cross-platform thing.
Yeah.
So if they're able to come to this agreements with all these other companies now, that just lays the groundwork to show that it can be done on other systems.
Absolutely.
Or on other systems, other games.
Yeah.
Like Rocket League. Things like that, dude. Rocket League would be huge. If it could go cross-platform, any Overwatch. With this esports move that we're going to, with the growth of it and how rapidly it's happening, you know, these owners of sports franchises buying, you know, spots in leagues and stuff like that now for millions of dollars, signing people to big contracts to be on the squads. You know, it only makes sense to have that cross-platform thing because money talks. Now there's a lot of money in it.
Absolutely.
Now we can fund these tournaments together and all benefit from it. It's not going to be because think about it, man. You're going to have Microsoft only tournaments or Sony only. Now, if your team qualifies, what's your platform of choice? You play on that. What's your platform of choice? You're playing on that, so nobody's at a disadvantage. You're all playing to your strengths.
Exactly.
It only makes the possibilities way more exciting. Madden coming out, I can only dream about if I could play on my friends who play on Xbox. I mean, I'll probably have it now. Scorpio's coming out when we get the game-related Scorpio. Whenever we do that, I'll have a copy of Madden for that. But I've historically been a PlayStation Madden guy. If I can play them,
over.
Settle debates, man.
Exactly.
Call of Duty games like that too. Oh my God.
Oh man, yeah, I agree. I think that cross-play is huge, and especially for Minecraft. Like, you know, you're not going to be making a sequel to Minecraft. The logistics of it don't make sense. It's not built to have a sequel, but to shake it up in some big way. A lot of people were expecting something like that from Microsoft, I think.
Yeah.
And they brought it. They really did. And that's actually what I was going to be getting to anyway when I was bringing that up, is Minecraft and how Microsoft has just,
The graphics upgrades.
the 4K.
Yo, the HDR, you know, implementation. It looks good, man.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
It really does.
I can't believe I'm talking about Minecraft like this. I actually sound excited. I'm still not gonna play it because it's just such an investment to like
That
actually
is-
do anything worthwhile in that game.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see what people create, and I mean, I just love seeing games, and it's just wow.
Exactly. It's definitely something that I'm excited to see happen. They called it the super duper graphics. That's what they called it.
Oh yes, super duper graphics. I love it, man. It's a creative little aesthetic they have.
Right. But I'm willing to bet that the next game on your list is that Dragon Ball Z Fighter.
Oh, it's on there, but the next game on my list wasn't that. We could talk about that.
Well,
though.
let's see what you got.
Oh, next one was that Black Desert.
Oh, Black Desert. That looks fun.
It looks fun.
It's an MMO, which, you know, to me is a bit of a bummer because that's a time sink to me. It's,
Yeah.
you know, a game that just is way too big and, you know, stretches everything out. I mean, MMOs, some don't do that as badly, but at the same time, it's like I'm really only going to have that full experience if I have a bunch of friends who also get it.
True. And that leaves potential for microtransactions and all of that.
Exactly.
The first thing, or what I thought until they said the name, the title, I was like, did Xbox get a Monster Hunter game? That's all I was really thinking. And
Right.
so, I mean, it could like satiate that audience, you know? So,
Yeah.
I mean, it has potential if it hits the right notes in that realm. Monster Hunter might have to jump its ass off of handhelds, you know what I mean, and get over here on some actual consoles, you know?
Right. Exactly. Now, I mean, I'm a Monster Hunter guy. I'm part of that audience, so, you know, that's one of the things that really does make that game look intriguing. I mean, you know, sure, it's an MMO, but the gameplay does look something along those lines.
Yeah.
And I'm totally cool with that. I mean, I do think that Monster Hunter's still on the Nintendo fence, which means we're going to be getting a Switch game for sure. I think they already announced it, but I haven't really looked into it too much. It should be good, but you know, I would love to see Monster Hunter on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, played it on the PlayStation Portable and the Vita.
Yeah.
You know, or I never had it on the Vita actually. I only had it on the PlayStation Portable.
But that was one of
was
the
fun,
big
man.
titles on PSP for
Yeah.
me. Like if I had a PSP, well, I did have one, but I had borrowed it, and I never actually played it. But if I did, the games I would have gotten definitely would have been Monster Hunter, Metal Gear Solid, God of War.
Yeah.
Like, they actually had some solid.
Crisis Core. We can't talk about Sony
Yeah,
right
exactly.
now,
I was
though.
just
What
about
are
to
we
say,
doing?
we're getting off
What
track.
are we doing?
So, yeah, Black Desert looks good, and Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
Did that get a release date?
I don't think it did. I don't recall it seeing a release date, but I will say this. This year in fighting games has been amazing. And the fact that they're throwing their hat in the ring
Oh, yeah.
and knowing the competition they have to keep up with now,
Yep.
if they do justice to where fighting games are at right now with Dragon Ball Z, oh man, that game could could be epic. That could be so much fun. Because I played back in the day some of those, 2D fighters, the DBZ old school stuff.
Budokai and Budokai Technikai or something like that.
Oh, Budokai, even older than Budokai. Those were like semi 3D if I remember too.
Yeah.
But even older than that, I mean like in the 90s, some of like some not named bootleg, but the import stuff you had to get from Japan.
Yeah.
And those games, they weren't that fun usually. It was just cool playing Dragon Ball Z because you really couldn't. But other than that, man, the game, they weren't that good. This looks dope.
Yeah, it does. It really does. This is the kind of anime style game that is going to age beautifully, I think.
Mm-hmm.
10 years down the line, well, maybe not 10 years, maybe 10 years down the line, we'll still look at this game and be like, wow, that shit still looks great.
I think you're right. I think even further, I honestly think that game will be timeless because it's so on par with the source material now. It's like 1-to-1, sometimes better in the games than when you watch the anime.
Oh, absolutely. Because, I mean, when you look back at Dragon Ball Z, you notice, like, when I watched it as a kid, I didn't notice this, but looking back, they did take a lot of shortcuts in their animation process, with it being a kids' television anime.
Yeah.
But, that being said, now the games are getting to that point that they're looking better than the show.
Yeah, so I think that South Park, same thing. I think their games will last forever. Doesn't matter what platform they're on. If you can match that, like if they made a Simpsons game that looked just like the Simpsons, that's the peak. You don't go past that. Now you just make better games now that you've reached that,
Yep.
So I think you're right. Those games, if you make Dragon Ball Z games right, forever. I'm gonna be playing Xenoverse games for a long time.
Yeah, those Xenoverse games look fun. I gotta get it.
Yeah, they're fun. Man.
I gotta get the second one.
Oh yeah.
But oh man, the last night.
Oh, the last night, bro.
Wow.
That shit looked crazy.
That looks fun. I mean, I do like me some good indie games.
Yeah.
I love me some good indie games. And the last night is, I was actually thinking about game ideas 1 or 2 or 3 weeks ago about, what if you had a game that was just like the best possible looking 8-bit or 16-bit game with today's technology? Because, I mean, back in those days, they did have, obviously they had 8-bit, which was a limitation in itself, but they had further limitations such as limited colors and limited layering and stuff like that. That is just not really a problem nowadays.
Yeah.
And The Last Night is a perfect example of what
Wow, just look at this trailer. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Granted, there are high-res elements they're using.
Oh, absolutely.
But the blend is so unique and so well done, man.
It really is. Oh, man.
Look at that. Just the way, the different levels they have for it being two-dimensional.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, man. The lighting. See, that's the thing, I think, with games. If you want a game to really pop, no matter how high fidelity visuals you're doing, your lighting has to be on point.
Yeah.
You can do so much with lighting, and they're killing it in this trailer with the lighting. We'll see if that's what the actual game engine looks like. I have no reason to doubt it's going to look this good.
Yeah.
But we've been fooled before.
Yep. E3 has a tendency sometimes to over-exaggerate the visual fidelities that the games tend to end up having or not having.
Yeah.
So, we'll see if it's looking as great as this at launch, if not better. But we'll see.
Yeah.
So we're both really excited for that.
Looks like another one games like from back in the day, like Another World, stuff like that.
Another World. I have that on my Wii U actually.
Yeah, man.
That's pretty fun.
It's like what those games would have evolved to. I'm glad to see this kind of stuff come out. I hope it just more games go to that kind of storytelling. Not afraid to use that early '90s kind of inspiration on games.
Exactly.
I think that'd be awesome. Is it calling me off of work? Nah, damn it. I want to get called off tonight. Y'all don't need to worry about that on podcast, but whatever. Anyway, so next, man, The Last Night was The Artful Escape.
The Artful Escape.
That looked interesting as hell, man.
It really did. It really did. Let's see if we
pull
can
that one up?
Yeah, get a little.
I'll pull it up. That one almost one like you need to hear, man. Like the musical, implemented with his guitar, creating the platforms and oh my goodness, that trailer was fun to watch. Artful Escape. And it looks like it's gonna be a really unique game. And again, man, I'm like seeing the indie focus and the fact that we're seeing, you know, people take risks and do original ideas.
Yep, absolutely. I can't even count how many new intellectual properties, indie or otherwise, we're showing at Microsoft's show. Like, it's just so many games. I took as many notes down as I could on the games that I announced, and I'm pretty sure that I missed like a good handful of them because they just kept on going.
Yeah, dude. I feel like I gotta watch the conference again. I just think I got that kind of time. It was a long conference. Yeah. But man, this game looks really good.
The Artful Escape. Gosh, the lighting, again, like you were saying earlier, and the color palette that they're using, and the blend of 2D and 3D with the graphics, it's definitely different than the last night in terms of how they do it, but nevertheless, it's unique and it's easy on the eyes, and it's very enticing, intriguing. Definitely one of those games that is gonna get the attention of anyone who likes indie games.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what they do with music, because there's some games out there that have done wonderful and creative things with music. Yeah. It with regard to their gameplay, you know what I mean?
And it ended, I love that the trailer ended with "coming when it's damn ready."
Exactly.
That's hilarious and awesome. That
you gotta put it out
right. What we want to hear. Exactly. I'm really glad that they understand that you got to put it out right and take the time that is going to be required to bring us the vision that you're planning on giving us.
Yeah, man. Thank you for being honest and being true to the art form instead of trying to just get to a bottom line as fast as you can, because you're going to get there. Yep. That's the thing. You're going to get there. I wish more companies understood that with stuff like video games and phones. I don't want my phone blowing up, just saying.
iPhone setting on fire and stuff.
This is Galaxies, man. I ain't gonna lie. No, I ain't no Samsung. I have a Galaxy, man. Yeah. Just not the one that was blowing up.
Right.
If that shit get too hot, trust and believe I'm throwing that shit out the window.
So let's see. Moving on, we got Code Vein, which is a I'm really glad that Xbox and Microsoft they're going into getting these Japanese developers on board. This definitely looks like one of the more Japanese developed games that came out of the show. It's got like you texted me, you were like, anime Dark Souls?
Yeah, just Anime Souls. That's the
Anime Souls.
That's what I have on my notes written too, because that's what it just looked like. I was like, damn, it's just Anime Souls, which is awesome. You take that formula and apply some anime elements to it, and I'm good with that.
I'm great with that.
Know?
I want more Souls games. I mean, I don't want any more Dark Souls games. I don't want Dark Souls 4, but I do want more of those kinds of games, and not just from Software. I want them from other people, and I want to see more things like Neo and, not the Surge or Lords of the Fallen, because those games didn't really hit home. But
have you tried? I haven't tried the Surge yet. I want to try it.
I haven't tried it, but I have heard some not so good things about it.
Really?
Yeah.
It looks like a fun game. Yeah. It can do that to you though.
Absolutely. But Code Vein, we're looking at the footage right now, and wow, yeah, this looks good.
It looks really
good. I'm not
too
worried about this, falling on its face at all. This looks like some fun, action-based, stylized. What the hell is this anime crazy awesomeness?
It really does, man. I'm really excited to play this game. I hope it's co-op, so we can get down on this.
Oh yeah,
some
online
plays,
co-op,
you know what I'm saying?
co-op. That would be great.
Yeah, that game was really good. It's like the environments, man.
Yeah.
I really like what they're doing with the environments, and it's kind of like a hybrid art style.
Right. And I'll bring this up a little bit, but I don't really want to get too deep into it, until we have our own video dedicated to it. But man, something about the first Dark Souls game that really made it as great as it was the environmental design. Like you were saying for Code Vein, it definitely looks like it's gonna have some really good exploration, really good, level design, and Dark Souls 1 really shined in bringing its whole world together, and it was very multi-layered, and a lot of the story was told through the environment. And I'm gonna stop right there before I get too much into it.
Word.
That's something that it looks like is gonna be done in Code Vein, and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I agree, man. That's good. That looks good. And then they showed, Sea of Thieves. They showed an extended, finally some gameplay looks like.
Yep.
And it looked cool. It doesn't look like my cup of tea. It look, it's been taking a while. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what the prospects for that game are gonna be after today and seeing, Skull and Bones from Ubisoft.
Yeah, that was
I kind of feel like they won the pirate war with that one.
right. No,
It looks crazy.
Pirate games aren't really for everyone, and I mean that new Pirates movie came out, and some people who saw it liked it, some people didn't. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really say. I really did not like the last one, but moving on from that point is I'm kind of a sucker for pirates.
Hey, likewise, man. Likewise. I mean, Assassin's Creed 4 was awesome.
Yeah, I gotta play it. I really have to play it. I'm surprised that I haven't at this point. I guess it's that I have to play the third one also.
Oh, I mean, they're not really related. You could go straight. I mean, they're related in the sense that it's, Assassin's Creed, the Kenway family, and all that, the bloodline. But aside from that, you don't need to play 3 to get 4.
For sure.
I mean, maybe on the modern day setting, you might get a little more, but they end Desmond's story in 3. So you got to play it for that. But, bro, the pirate combat on the seas and going island to island is awesome, man. It looks like Ubisoft has the drop on that already. So I feel like I'm more intrigued with that. But Sea of Thieves, that's Microsoft's baby. We'll see what they do with it.
We'll see how it goes. Hopefully they don't release around the same time to have a direct competition. But, we'll see how it goes. And both look good, but we'll talk more about Skull and Bones in our Ubisoft reaction.
Now to the one thing in the show. More than aggravates me. It messed with my soul. Who the fuck is Super Lucky?
Super Lucky's Tale.
You do not make me feel like Conker is finally coming back on your new console and then give me some generic looking. Looks like Conker from the back, kind of, but not even a squirrel, not drunk. What the hell? I saw people, I didn't even think about this when I saw it. I saw some comments on the trailers about, Sega might be kind of pissed off about this, kind of like a little Tails bite too. I was like, go rip off of Tails. Okay, it kind of does seem like that. Regardless, game looked all right, but for a character, for a mascot in a platformer, man, I'm not impressed.
I agree on the front that they should have probably gone with a different kind of character, not a fox, basically.
Yeah.
A different kind of animal, like a squirrel or something. Or
No, don't be. Unless it's Conker,
Well,
don't
actually,
make it
yeah.
a fucking squirrel.
Yeah, Conker's
And just make it
Forgot
Conker.
about that.
What the
Exactly.
hell?
Just make it Conker. Just make it Conker. You wanted a platformer. That's what a lot of people were expecting out of you, since Sony's got the Ratchet and Clank, and obviously Nintendo's got the Mario and Donkey Kong and Yoshi and Kirby and all that stuff. I did kind of expect Microsoft to finally come on board with the platformer, family-friendly platformer genre. And I mean, for the non-family friendly platformer, Conker would be great. But for the family-friendly ones, they really have to be a fox.
Now I think that kills the prospect of Conker coming back, because you're not going to put 2 that are that similar out.
I agree. That's a bummer.
That's the part that gets me.
Yeah. It might be a long while before we see a little Conker. I mean, maybe this Super Lucky's Tale doesn't sell very well, and they decide, okay, that was a one-time thing, we're going to try something like Conker.
Yeah.
And once Rare's done with Sea of Thieves, which we have learned that they are the developers of from our last videos to now.
Yeah, did not realize that, because I always forget about that game, because
Yeah.
I've never really seen much on it. But yeah,
Yep, we were reminded of that once once the show reminded us of it, and we had Super Lucky's Tale on there. That was not Rare, obviously. That would have been even more of a slap to the face if Rare had been doing that.
I feel like Rare can't like that though. That's really close to Conker, I don't know. That's how I feel about it. I feel like it personally inside I'm boycotting that game.
Right.
Like spiritually, where it's like, no, I'm not even gonna allow myself to take any kind of investment or anything and look into this game. Like, kind of know nothing on principle. Just angry. I want Conker back, man.
Right.
Enough about that though. What
Yeah.
what kind of name is Super Lucky? Like, that was a generic ass Oculus Rift or whatever freaking platformer in VR that they're bringing to console. Like,
And they Super. That's Nintendo's thing. Super. That's not a Microsoft thing. I don't know.
No,
Maybe they're just trying to really hammer that head on the nail with their kid-friendly platforming, but I don't know. It looks, it does look okay, like you were saying, but still kind of a smack to the face for Conquer fans and Rare fans of old.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on from that. On a higher note, as far as platformers go, I really enjoyed that we got a release date for Cuphead.
Yeah, finally. Finally, that's gonna be cool.
Yep, I'm excited for that. Absolutely, I love that visual style. Again, looking like a television show, acting exactly like a television show, such as South Park and Dragon Ball Z, like we were discussing.
Yeah,
that's a style that can really hit home for gamers, and it makes me really excited.
It's amazing they're so good at pulling these things off, man. Like Cuphead. When I've seen those trailers, every bit of footage I've seen over the years, I'm just like, wow. Like, there was a time where creating the animation, the like Steamboat Willie and all that stuff, people were like, "Oh my god!" Now we can control that same level. Damn, dude.
Yeah, exactly. We knew when we were like kids in gaming, and like when I was a kid, like I was like 3 or 4 years old when the Nintendo 64 came out. So I had just gotten I had a Nintendo Entertainment System and I was into 2D games, but I didn't really realize, I didn't grasp the, bombast of transitioning from 2D to 3D. And, I finally, once I started to get a little older, I was like, I wonder how games are going to look 10 years from now. Never thought that they would look like, potentially television. Like actual animated television shows, and they would get that style and they would hit it home on point. And the technology's there, but you also have to have the creativity, and thank God they do.
Yeah, and not only the creativity, people who have a genuine love for the source material, what they're working on too. It shows when that's there. Like there's a reason there wasn't a good Batman game until Arkham Asylum dropped.
Because they fucking love Batman.
You could tell with the fan service that was in there. There's a little stuff that didn't have to be there that they put in, show the love. So that has to be there for a game to truly be great. Let's start on my notes again. Shadow of War, though.
Shadow of War.
Man, the characters look like they are really well done.
Absolutely.
When they show Bruce, whatever that guy he recruited.
Right.
That guy had personality, man.
He really did. He really did. Especially when he took him over and he's like, right, Lord, same thing.
Yeah. That smile he had on his face, too, just cracked me up. He was just little quips all the time. Like, okay, he's just one of the guys you could potentially recruit and all of that. So that made me even more excited for the game on a story level.
Yeah.
The world's gonna be huge. So we had a little dropout on the audio feed real quick, but last thing we were talking about the size of the world and Shadow of War, and that looks like it's gonna be a huge game, expansive, real good use of the universe.
Yeah.
But we'll move on to Anthem. We're kind of rehashing the conversation we already had. We didn't realize it had stopped on us, but I mean that looks incredible. The graphics, the world building, the depth of it, it just looks amazing. It really does. And I can't wait for it.
I can't wait for it either. Anthem looks amazing. It looks amazing visually. It's one of those things that you're gonna want to play on the 1X. Probably for that real experience to keep, to be able to run it at the consistency that you want. It's got that multiplayer, that open world, huge open world, all the, maneuverability. You're fucking flying around. What?
Woo. That when they jumped off of that cliff and they started buzzing.
I was like, oh man, no way.
You gotta be kidding me. And then the world you're flying around in, just so stunning, man. And they show the combat, the storms, like you were talking about before we got cut off of the audio, the mech suits, all of that, man. They had a lot when they teased it at the EA conference, man. What was it? EA conference?
Yeah.
Too many conferences all together. Right. But when BioWare teased that, man, I didn't, like you said, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah. God damn, that was a hell of a presentation for that game. Very excited for it. Very excited for it.
I wasn't that the new Mass Effect.
Right? Exactly.
That's one of my thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, we won't get too deep into Mass Effect, but you know what? We'll reiterate. Like we said, when we were talking about Anthem during our EA reaction, like we're saying right now, wait until it's done. But that being said, please give us this game already.
Oh my god, I can't wait to play this shit.
It's
Oh my god.
We're really, we got really high hopes for Anthem.
Oh, high hopes.
Oh yeah.
High hopes. We'll see. And Microsoft, I mean, they knocked it out of the park.
They really did.
Like you were saying, you know, your grade for them,
Yep.
you know.
A+.
Yeah, yeah.
A+.
Likewise.
Absolutely. Oh man, there's just like so many games. Like we didn't even cover all of the games, like, and we're not even gonna, you know, I'll list off a couple just to kind of throw out the ones that really piqued my interest, that were, you know, just snippets that I don't want to get too deep into, but you know, other than that, Life is Strange Before the Storm looks great, Ashen looks great, Shift, Hello Neighbor, Strange Brigade, Dark and Light, Brawl Out, Observer, Robocraft Infinity, Surviving Mars, Raiders of Broken Planet, Osiris New Dawn, all of them, they look awesome. There's just so many damn games.
Those all
at that
exclusives too?
Maybe not. It was like in that final segment where they were just kind of doing 5-second or so.
Oh yeah, yeah, you got your little sizzle reel of them all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then Tacoma, man, I mentioned that being an exclusive. It shows that they're playing that chess game on every level right now, from indie to AAA, which they gotta do
Absolutely.
to outmaneuver the competition, man. And they set a high bar for everybody to match with their conferences for the rest of the show.
Yep. Especially
Especially Nintendo and Sony. We'll see how they answer, man. Like, you guys can't not only have good conferences, you got great conferences now.
Exactly. In my eyes, best Microsoft conference they've ever had.
It was great, yeah. I agree, man. I agree. And there's a bright future, it looks like, for Microsoft. And they needed that. I mean, we talked about how bad they needed to show the games. Stop talking about the specs all the time. And they showed a hell of a lot of games. And they brought the funk, man. So, props, Microsoft. Great conference. Looking forward to seeing what develops from here.
Absolutely. Thank you for sending us the message that you are indeed still invested in being in the games department as a company. We really needed to hear that and receive that message, and we did. So thank you, Microsoft. We appreciate that. Very excited for you guys. Very happy for you. This is Game Related Network signing off for the Microsoft reaction. You can expect our Bethesda reaction coming up soon. Again, this is Zach.
Adam. Hip Hop for Life.
Hip Hop for Life. We'll see you guys next time.